Hi everyone, welcome back. This is my 14 weeks pregnancy update. So 14 weeks marks the entrance into the second trimester of pregnancy, which feels really good. It's definitely another milestone. Kind of 12 weeks was one, 10 weeks was another, but the second trimester is definitely a good feeling to have reached that, because now kind of the placenta has taken over, and everything is kind of a little bit stronger by this stage. So to say that I'm out of the first trimester is, yeah, it's a bit strange. It's like, oh, I'm in the second one already, but it's a positive thing. Firstly, I will just talk about my symptoms that I've been feeling this week. So the main thing that I talked about in my kind of first trimester video was about my sickness. So I am still feeling sick sometimes, a little bit queasy in the day, but it's almost like it started going, but actually this week it's kind of come back a little bit more, and still in the evening, although maybe that is a bit less. So it's, again, it's still variable, it's still different every day, it's always changing, but unfortunately it's not gone completely, but it is a lot more manageable. I mean, comparing it to how I was when I first started having the sickness is way better. And my appetite is just gone through the roof. I just am hungry all the time, and like every time I have my lunch, I really enjoy it, and I could eat the same thing again. It's hard because on one hand I think, well, I'm pregnant, and if I'm hungry, then I'm hungry, like I've got to eat, which is true. But on the other hand, obviously I still want to try and be healthy and get some good foods in me. And sometimes I think, am I using my pregnancy as an excuse to eat more? Like, am I just justifying the fact that I'm hungry? Like, would I have been hungry if I wasn't pregnant? I don't know. It's hard to tell, but I think I am hungrier because I've kind of noticed it more recently. But I will see. I mean, if I'm hungry, I'm not going to deprive myself of food, but I think obviously I do need to try and eat healthy as well. I haven't had any cravings. I don't really have kind of strong aversions either, but I definitely do fancy unhealthy foods more. So everything I just said is, yeah, it's a bit difficult. I just fancy quite like a lot of carbs and cheese, really. With that, and whether it's because of a change in my diet, but I am a little bit more gassy than I would be usually. And actually, since I went back to work, which was around, maybe, was I 11 weeks, I think, when I went back to work after being off sick, I definitely noticed some pains and aches in my lower back. And I notice it more at work than I do when I'm at home, but I also notice it if I go out for a walk, whether that's at work or kind of at the weekend when I'm at home. And it's a different ache and pain that I haven't had it before, so I know that it's definitely related to pregnancy. Recently, and this has literally been the past couple of days, so I am literally on my last day of 14 weeks, so tomorrow I'll reach 15 weeks. And yeah, the past couple of days I've just noticed some kind of crampy feelings, and at first I just thought it was a feeling that I needed to go to the toilet. I just thought, oh, I need the toilet. But then it keeps happening, and it's quite short-lived. It doesn't last for long. It kind of comes and goes, but it does feel a bit like a cramp, like a period pain cramp. And apparently that is normal. That's part of the stretching pains that I'm going to get more of as I get bigger. I was a bit worried at first because I kind of thought stretching pain would feel like a stretch, like, kind of a sharper, stretchy pain rather than a cramp. But, having looked it up and spoken to a few people, many others experience that as well. Obviously, if the pain gets worse or if there's anything else, then I'd call the midwife, but I'm kind of quite happy that's all it is, and it is mild and it doesn't last very long when it does come. So I had my midwife appointment last week. It was meant to be, I think, when I was 15 weeks, but she kind of dated me slightly wrong. She went on, the day of my last period, which is what they usually go on. But I did say, I know that my cycles are longer than that, and I ovulated later than what that kind of calculation tells you. So, but I did ring them up and they said it's fine, still, you know, still come into that appointment, you don't have to make it later. So I went to my appointment, took my wee sample, she took my blood pressure, that was all fine. I had the results of my blood test, all fine, and that was it really. And we just had kind of a general chat. I told her about my thoughts about which hospital I want to go with. I'm still debating that. So there's either kind of a hospital that I'm really comfortable with, been there loads of times for like various x-rays or whatever appointments I've had in the past. I've also been birth partner there. But what I like is that they have a midwife-led unit alongside a consultant-led unit. So you can be in the midwife-led unit, but obviously if there's any issues or complications, you can just be transferred up the corridor kind of thing. So that's really positive. However, it's a little bit further away than the other hospital which I'm considering, but the other one doesn't have a midwife-led unit, it's only consultant-led. And yeah, so I was speaking to my midwife about that because some studies have shown that, you know, as soon as you go onto a consultant-led unit, you're more likely to have a medical intervention. So I'm still kind of weighing it all up. It's kind of hard, and obviously I don't know. Obviously at the moment I think I'm kind of considered low risk, but you don't know what's gonna happen and what's gonna change. But yeah, the consultant-led one is a bit nearer to me, and the reviews are better. They're more positive than the other one. But the midwives told me that I've basically got, you know, ages to make my mind up. I don't have to decide now. So but yeah, that's something that we talked about. But let's get on to a baby. So the baby at 14 weeks is the size of a lemon, and it's actually doubled in size since a week ago, which is crazy. So it's getting bigger. I know 15 weeks is the size of an apple. So I mean, lemon and apples are kind of, they're different shapes. I know the fruit thing is kind of hard to picture sometimes, isn't it? But I think it's more the length that they go on. But yes, so baby is now the size of a lemon at 14 weeks. The placenta is now supporting the baby. And I read that the baby is able to make facial expressions, so it can kind of squint and move their face around, still moving about of course. And they are growing downy hair all over their body, which helps to keep them warm, which is very sweet. So it's all going well. I'm feeling much more positive and happy. Still haven't bought anything. You will know when I buy something. We haven't bought anything yet, and you know that's been a mix of not wanting to get my hopes up. It's been a mix of thinking we were moving house, but now we're not. Hopefully I will buy something soon, but I want it to be something kind of nice, not like a boring item. But I'll let you know. So the last thing to show you, which I haven't done so far, is for you to see my bump. So I will show you what it looks like now. This dress actually is a maternity dress, but I don't know if you can see. So if I kind of breathed out, it looks more obvious, but I could do that before I was pregnant. But if I just like stand correctly, good posture, I don't know if you can see, it's not big, obviously it's still fairly small, but that's it there. But it's quite a nice little bump. So that was my 14 weeks update. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.